Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. And honestly, after putting out the tier list, I really didn't think I'd have to make this video, but I've already had people asking me in the comments, should I go for this unit, should I go for that unit? I mean, I guess the tier list is supposed to really give you an indication of that, but for the sake of clarity, I'm going to break it down just now. I'm going to do who you should prioritise with your special summons, but I'm going to break it down into two categories, okay? First off, I'm going to start off with bossing priority, okay? And on this video, I'm not going to put every single special summon unit on here because, in my opinion, if you've already got these units I'm going to talk about, you're not watching a priority video because you are someone who either spends on the game or you are already well aware of who you should be summoning. So this is more for people who really maybe take a long time to make decisions and things like that about who they should be going for. Okay, so I'm going to do this in order of where I think that they sit in your priority list, okay? And for bossing, okay, I actually believe that the first unit we're going to talk about is going to be Honda. And honestly, for bossing, I would put him into slot number 1. Now the reason I'm saying this is because Honda is going to help elevate your scores, okay? He is going to help you score more. Now, some people might think, wait, why would you not go for a kind of DPS character that'll actually put more points on the board? And to be completely honest, that is a very valid point, okay? However, the way I see it is, this guy is going to enable those guys to actually do more damage, to actually score more. And if you've got Honda built, he is, depending on the zone that you're in, he is going to give you the potential to get more special summon tickets, which in turn will help you get more special summon units, making him, in my opinion, out of the current crop of special summon units that we have available, probably your top priority when it comes to bossing, okay? Now, next up, this might not be in order. I'll put them in order when they're on the list. We'll talk about Vega. Vega's a bit of an oddball, in my opinion. Some bosses he works really well for, some not so much. Still fairly decent though. I would actually probably put Vega here when it comes to bossing, okay? I just think that he isn't really a boss character. He is, but he isn't at the same time. It's a difficult one to really call with this guy, but I think when it comes down to if your main priority and focus is bossing, then I would probably say I'd put Vega here, okay? Mainly because now I would probably put this guy here for bossing, because once you start to figure out how to use this guy in bossing, because of how his passive and stuff like that works, he is very positive to have on your team, even in the way that you used to do with old Bison. He can just be there, do you know what I mean? You don't actually have to actively make him part of your combo, and he can help you get quite a lot of points, making him a very positive unit when it comes to bossing, in my opinion. Now, the only other two units I'm really going to talk about is, again, I'm doing this because if you've already got all of these units, you're not looking at a priority list, you're already sorted, right? So, next up, we're going to talk about Gokun. Now, I've kind of tossed and turned on this one, right? I'll be honest, when it comes to bossing these days, I don't really use Gokun all that much. So I'd probably put Gokun as the lowest priority of these 5, but I would still say go for him, okay? Which means I would actually say that she would sit here when it comes to the bossing kind of teams that you might want to run, okay? She's a very solid, very positive unit to have, and if you don't have her built, then I do recommend going for her. I just think now you want these units for other things. Now, the reason that I've done this, the way I've done this, is because while the order is going to change, the units are not going to change, okay? PvP priority and bossing priority is not actually any different. It's just where they would sit on the kind of priority list, I would say, okay? So, how would you prioritise these units if your main concern was PvP, okay? So for PvP, it's not hugely different, but it is different enough. I would say that I'll just reorder them and then I'll talk about why, right? So, I'd put you here, I'd put you here, I'd now put you here, I'd put you here, and I'd put you, whoa, stay where you are, and I'd put you here. Okay, so let me explain. Now, straight up, honestly, Bison's the best unit in the game when it comes to PvP. People will die on the hill that it's Vega. It's not Vega. Vega is fantastic, right? He's absolutely fantastic. But he is no longer the king of PvP. He's not. Sad to say, he's not. Bison is the king of PvP once again, right? So, in my opinion, Bison should be your top priority when it comes down to summons, okay? For PvP, that is. Now, the fact that I think that Bison for bossing is probably number 2, I would probably say overall, that probably makes Bison your top priority, okay? When it comes to the other 2 slots, for PvP, I would put Vega in 2nd spot, and I'd put Rich Honda in 3rd spot. Now, if you go with averages, Vega was 3 on bossing, 2 in PvP. Honda is 1 in bossing, 3 in PvP. So you can split hairs over who you go for second, right? You either go for Honda overall or Vega overall in 2nd place. You're not really going to go wrong there. But the reason that I've got Honda here is because he's very solid in specific teams, okay? Yeah, himself, he can just one-shot teams as well. Like, he can just literally be the one guy that's standing all the way to the end, just pummeling units until they die. He can do that, right? But with the way the current meta is, you're going to have to get pretty lucky to match up against a team where you're able to do that. So that is why I'd probably put Gokin there, Honda there. Now, Gokin, the reason he keeps up a slot is because he does work very well on the Bison team, but he's not infallible on the Bison team. There's other units that can easily go into the Bison team and do very well. In fact, I run Honda on the Bison team, and he does very well. But the consensus from a lot of people seems to be that Gokin is the better option for the Honda team. I don't, strictly speaking, know if I agree with that, but he is a very solid unit to have for PvP. Obviously, like everything, apart from Bison, there is a hard counter for him. There's plenty of hard counters for him. Any unit that ignores damage immunity, death immunity type things, i.e. Vega, they'll just mow through him, okay? So you've just got to bear that in mind. Which means overall, I'd probably still say he's 5th, just for out of these 5 characters of who I would really focus on summoning first. Elena, she doesn't see as much use on PvP anymore. She still does, depending on the team build that you've got. She can still function very well. Don't necessarily think she's as vital as she once was, but unlike a lot of other units, she's not just fallen off the map of obscurity. She still has a place in PvP. She still functions well in PvP. I'm just not exactly sure how often you're going to use her. So I would probably say that I would put her in last place. So, simply put, if you were looking at bossing, the first half of this video is relevant to you. If you're more concerned about PvP, the second half of the video is relevant to you. If we are talking about pure and simple overall, so what I'll do is, just for those people that like to screenshot to go and clown people when they've given an opinion, so we'll just say overall priority. I would probably say that for me, it's going to be go back to where you were, you mofo. For me, it's going to be this. That would be how I'd put overall priority, okay? Again, this is just taking an average of what I think for PvP, what I think for bossing, working the average of the positions, where does that lie overall. This is what I would probably say. Now, if you've got all these videos, you don't need all these units, you don't need my advice. You've got either an abundance of money where you buy tickets, you're regularly winning enough tickets, you've got a large amount of tickets, and you're obviously summoning units and you know what you're doing. So this is not aimed at you. This is aimed at the people who are quite frugal with their tickets and only really target the best. And I have considered Luke. I would not put him anywhere near this top 5 of units that you should summon in your special summons. So, there's your answer. If you don't like it, cool. If you do like it, cool. Drop your comments down below. I've been Hayzink. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.